welcome everyone to another video. This is the first episode of the new series, a sequel to an old series. This is Storytime with Mikey, the next chapter. In this version of the series, I want to talk about more newer stories, more recent occurring stories, and stories that I go through day to day when they occur and they sound interesting enough for a video. Because I wrapped up the old Storytime series, so I wanted to do something fresh now that a lot of things are happening. But the first episode, this episode, I'm going to be talking about something that actually happened about 10 years ago. So we're starting it off with the roots of the old series just to get you ready for what's to come with new episodes. And this was back in 2015. I was right in the prime of where I was buying and collecting and selling antiques. And I had gone to Goodwill in the capital city of my state, and the Goodwill store in our capital city is humongous. It is the biggest Goodwill store in the whole state. And at the time, they were also very cheap. I had bought a 1950s reel-to-reel movie projector, film projector, where you could, you put the reel here, and it spins around and you play a movie. I bought it at the Goodwill for $5. Very good deal for what it was and the fact that it still worked and had a functioning light bulb. Very rare, especially for $5. I had it for about 6 months. I used it once because I did have one reel-to-reel film of 3 searches. And I decided to sell it for more than what I paid for it, obviously. Because a reminder, I bought it for $5, not counting tax. And I wanted to sell it for $50 because it was worth about $150, but I like to sell things to price to go. And you buy it for $50, not counting tax, you sell it for $50, you're still making a pretty good profit right there. That's a pretty good amount of money for what you just put into it. And there had been a lady who commented on my post, because this is when I was also selling things solely on Facebook through, the buying, selling groups. And she commented on my post about the projector, claiming, "Don't buy this, he stole this from my father." Because apparently this woman's father, her elderly father's home had been broken into, and he had a similar looking projector that had apparently been taken. Though whether or not this actually happened, I don't know. She could have been trying to scam me, trying to make me send it to her, or else she would try to get me in trouble and whatever have you. Because that stuff does happen. It's bullshit, but it happens. So I DM'd this woman asking, "Well, what did your father's projector, was it stolen with anything that came with it?" "Yeah, it was stolen with 5 reel-to-reel films." Well, this one only has the one that I've owned since before I bought this. I also showed her my receipt from the Goodwill, and she continued to cuss me out and tell me that I'm stupid. I look ugly in my profile picture. I like to call her a Karen because she was wrong. I proved to her she was wrong. And rather than say, "Oh, my bad, I'm sorry, I apologize, I was wrong, I was mistaken," they look identical. No, she goes straight to angry insults, cussing, whatever have you. And I'm like, "Look, lady, take a Prozac, go night-night." Okay? And then I blocked her because I proved to her that I didn't take anything from her father, had no idea who this woman was or where the fuck her father lived. And might I say, if that man is still alive, I'm sorry that you have that for a daughter. I'm sorry. But in moral of this story, don't accuse people right away just because they have something that looks similar to something that you or your family owns, because I'm sure she didn't. She may not have understood this, but 1950s film projectors, they're a dime a dozen. They made a whole bunch from different companies. They didn't just make one and your father bought that one. There are thousands of them from the 50s and the 60s, that are from various companies. And we just don't right off the bat accuse people of stealing things. We don't do that. It's not nice. And I make it quite clear that I don't like people just throwing out accusations and assumptions, because you don't know who the fuck I am. So don't you dare assume anything about me, and don't you dare say that I did something when I know for a fact I didn't do something, and you can't even prove that I did something. Okay? I don't assume things about people, and I hope that they wouldn't assume things about me, because people have done that before, and it makes me very angry. Because I don't like people to assume things, because you don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. Don't assume about me. Unless I say something, you can't say that I agree or disagree with something, or that I do or do not do something. Okay. And all I'm here doing is trying to sell something that I bought from Goodwill for $5. And here's the kicker: the woman didn't even live in my state. She lived in the state over, the back end of the state over. I live in West Virginia. She lives in Kentucky, the back end of Kentucky. And our capital city here is Charleston, right in the middle of the fucking state. And that's still 45 minutes from where I live, depending on traffic. And I wanted to use this for the first episode of this new series, because I just recently remember this happening, because my mother brought it up to me, because it came to her, and then I said, oh yeah, that did happen. And as soon as I'm the kind of person, as soon as you remind me of something, everything that happened with that something comes right back to me. So I thought it would be a great starting point for this new series, this little sequel series to a series that I did for 3 years, I think. And we did like 35 episodes. I don't know how many this will happen, how many episodes will happen in this series, because this is focusing on more recent stories. Mine is this episode. But I'm looking forward to seeing what all happens that I can do, because I've already got an idea for what I want to do for episode 2 that recently happened to a family member who was a main focal point of the old series. So let me know what you all think down below. And do you agree that you shouldn't assume things about people that you don't know, and you shouldn't just accuse people right off the bat unless you have all your eggs in order? So let me know what you all thought down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.